Hey guys, Thomas here from FastTrackFBA, and today I am joined by Hayden Davidson, a fellow Amazon seller, and he's got quite an interesting story to tell that I want to share. So, first things first, Hayden, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi all, my name's Hayden Davidson. I'm from Kent, Tunbridge Wells in the UK, and I've been selling for about 7 months now on Amazon, just getting started out.
Fantastic, thank you. Now, you might be asking the question, why am I interviewing Hayden? Well, quite simply, a lot of my content, a lot of what I do, and hey, what I know is all about selling on Amazon already, and should we say, probably growing reasonable size. And Hayden, should we say, just started. I say just started, he's done 7 months, and he has kindly offered himself to come and have a conversation with me about that journey. And the reason why I'm interested in having that conversation with him is quite simply for the fact that so many people are just starting on their Amazon journeys that they're about to go through the next 3, 5, 6, 7 months, like Hayden, and they're going to take certain steps. And what I'm really interested to know is someone who has just gone through that process, what have they learned? And what would they do differently? And what can you, as a viewer, as a watcher of this video, take away from Hayden's first 7 months in Amazon that maybe is going to improve your next 7 months? So from me, Thomas Parkinson, and everyone watching, Hayden, thank you so much for joining us on this call today and obviously having this interview. So obviously you mentioned you're selling 7 months on Amazon. Can you just tell us, why Amazon? What's the reason you started, and how did you get started?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no problem at all. I decided to pick Amazon and an online business venture because all of my previous businesses were sort of manual labour sort of businesses. And we all know that we would prefer not to do manual labour if we can decide not to, wouldn't we? So that's why I chose an e-commerce business. As I say, I've had quite a few businesses before, but they weren't really portable around my lifestyle, and that's the sort of business I wanted to create with Amazon. So that's why I picked Amazon, really. I got started by, I almost did private label, looked into that because I think when you search for Amazon, that's the first sort of strategy that comes up generally. That's what people think of, that's what people believe exists, I think. And then I got introduced on just another YouTube videos, and another friend introduced me to online arbitrage, and I went, oh, so I can start this without taking the massive risk of buying £5,000 worth of Chinese products and send them to a warehouse. Oh yeah, you can. So I thought it was best to get started that way with less risk, really.
Tell us about the first kind of 7 months, your first couple of months in your Amazon business. Tell us a bit about that, and what did you do? How did you approach learning and doing Amazon arbitrage?
For the first couple of months, I was really, really scared of doing anything. I suppose I put in more than most. I put in sort of a couple of £1,000, and I just had that to spend. But I made some terrible buying decisions, like really, really bad buying decisions. And this is why I think it's such a great idea to just test the water and buy probably, I would say, max 2 items rather than 4 to 5, like they suggest, just to test the water. I would suggest testing with 1 or 2 to start with, because I made some terrible decisions that I've still got a couple of items from when I started, only a couple, because they still haven't sold, but I'm still waiting for that buy box. So I went really wide with loads of different products, made loads of mistakes, but learned from all them mistakes. Any product that wasn't selling or any product that sold, I would then go back to that keeper graph and I would analyze it step by step and figure out why one's selling and why the other isn't selling. That's what I did in my first 2 months, I think. So I bought stock, but then I went back and I reassessed all of this stock. But then I had the issue of spending my time assessing previous items rather than buying more. So then I sort of was taking 2 steps forward but 1 step back, because then my sales went down because I wasn't buying anymore. So that was what my first 2-3 months looked like, really. So I went into an academy to start with. I joined up to an academy, but I think before I did that, before I invested in any coaching or mentoring, which by the way I don't think is essential, but I think it could progress your progress could be a lot more advanced and you make a lot less mistakes if possibly you do. But what I did initially to that was actually just did tons of research on YouTube for specifically online arbitrage. probably a good 2 or 3 weeks. And I actually did 3 months with private label before that. So I actually knew, even though I decided not to go into it, I knew quite a lot about Amazon. Another thing I did was I looked on Facebook, I typed in the search bar issues that people were having, that they were panicking about, just so that I went into the business with a view of, right, these are the sorts of issues I'm going to come across, and I've just got to learn to expect that. And it was more just to clarify that it was actually a real business model and that did actually work. So I would recommend just having a look at Facebook groups, loads of YouTube videos, get the worst bits and the good bits, not just these guys with the Lamborghinis and girls, with the Lamborghinis. And then I decided to, just invest a little bit in my education, I suppose, just in accountability academy I was in, just to, and I'm still in, just to sort of bring that forward a bit. There's loads of information out there, but sometimes it's just out there and you've got to piece it together yourself. So sometimes it was a good idea just to get someone that's clearly experienced to help me put it together. But yeah, it's not essential, but if you've got, funds left, if you've got some funds left over from investment, you could do what you want, I suppose.
And obviously, you mentioned some YouTube channels. What channels do you found that were most helpful in your search?
I follow these guys called Isaac and Brandon. They do wholesale now, but they started out with online arbitrage and they got into a warehouse doing it, so they've got a lot of experience with it. Yeah, Isaac and Brandon, Success Creation, I think they're called. I follow them a lot, and they're really good for a lot of advice. I followed yourself, FastTrackFBA. Obviously, I've got a lot of stuff from that. Reading keeper graphs, I found that really, really useful. You've helped me out a lot. Just trying to get like a fine line of what the price is and the sales rank. That helped me out a lot. Luke Dugan, he's got a good YouTube channel. A few people. There's loads. You figure out who you sort of like when you're on there. I think for private label it was Brock Johnson, but that's a different topic, really.
If you went back into those 3 months again, talk us through what would that look like, what you know now.
Okay, yeah, great question. I think what I would do is focus on items that I can resell and keep reselling. A replenishables list. I would have focused on a replenishables list to start with. Obviously, those of you who don't know what a replenishable list is, it could be anything that you create yourself, like a spreadsheet or whatever. And you're just sort of monitoring your good items, or you're searching for good items that you can see have got a consistency in price and sales rank, almost taking less risk, but building up a regular income with these items so that you can purchase them over and over every week or month or whatever. That's what I would have focused on more to start with. I didn't even know, up until about 4 or 5 months in, I didn't even know that building a replenishables list was actually the core of this business. I think building a replenishable, I didn't even know that existed. So I found myself for the first 3 to 4 months just on deal sheets and trying to manually source myself. But I was buying items and then assuming it's like, okay, now I need to find another 10 leads tomorrow because them items are going to sell and then I'm going to have no stock. So it's such a simple thing, but it was a bit of a breakthrough moment where I went, oh my God, I can just reorder the same items and have a regular income, like a stable business. I know how to read keeper graphs, which is obviously key.
Let's bring it back even earlier than that. Let's bring it back to someone who knows nothing about Amazon, i.e. maybe this is the first video they are watching about thinking of selling Amazon arbitrage. They've got past the point where they think it's maybe a con, and they're like, actually, you can make money doing Amazon arbitrage. Crazy it sounds, buy from Tesco, sell in Amazon. Like, yeah, it does actually work. If you were in that point today, what would you recommend to yourself to learn, step by step? Talk me through that.
You say people that have got past it that it's not like a con or not whatever, but like I think you don't really know that until you've got the results coming in, until you've actually proved it to yourself. So my first bit of advice to myself would have been just to trust that you can't really go too far wrong with Amazon as long as you test the water and as long as your charts, etc., as long as your workings out are giving you some sort of profit. Once you've got that, then you can't go too far wrong. So it would just first of all just be to believe in myself and believe in the business model to start with. Just doing a lot of research around keeper graphs, around that sort of thing, because that's all you're looking at really. You're essentially like a trader, aren't you? You're trading on Amazon, just like stocks and shares, stockbrokers. All you're doing is looking at charts, really. So that is the key element to the business. So I would 100% be focusing on reading keeper graphs and then not hesitating when I get that good deal, I suppose.
Make sure you understand the profit calculations. And I do think some people struggle.
So big, yeah.
Yeah, so things like VAT, not so much something to like just be aware of it, and the fact that when you're starting out, you don't have to pay. You pay VAT, but you don't have to account for it. But just make sure you understand how Amazon's fees have VAT on them, and the fee calculator isn't right. And then the next one you're saying is understand keeper graphs like there is no tomorrow. Like really clarify. Yeah. And then once you're happy with that, have faith in the ability of what to do. And then, if I clarify, what you're saying then after that is to look for those products whereby they have a consistent price and consistent sales rank, and start building a list of them, because they are your replenishable items. And that is going to stop you from getting into the hamster wheel of new deal, new deal, new deal, new deal, new deal, new deal. It's just going to be new deal, keep buying, keep buying, keep buying, new deal, keep buying, and another deal, and you scale that way. That sound right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I would just say it's that replen list that is the focus for me now. But at the same time, it is really good just to get started and just test a few different items. So I would just say just almost set a few £100 aside for testing items. Ultimately, you're going to buy a couple of items that aren't great. You should break even on that product. Worst case, it should do. Don't get too disheartened when they don't sell out straight away or whatever, or you might get into some luck there. Take a step back and don't get too engrossed in, I've got to be here, I've got to be here. Just take it in your pace. I think not accounting for the Amazon 20% VAT fees was my biggest mistake as well. That's why some of my items are still there from the beginning, just a couple. I didn't realise that even when you use the Amazon calculator, which I used to start with, I didn't account for the Amazon's 20% VAT on top of that because it's not included. So for those starting out, just beware there is another 20% fees on top of the Amazon fees on the calculator.
Revenue-wise, what are you doing now, if you're happy to share?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So not doing millions yet. Last 7 days I just had my biggest week ever, I think. Looking at it now, it's about 2,380. For the last 30 days, been about 5.5K, I think. So it's just progressively going up now, and looking for the 10K mark round the corner. I could be doing the more revenue now, but I'm decided to just focus on the foundations for now, rather than just ordering 10 grand in 1 week and nothing the next week.
If we kind of talk from month 3 to say now, month 6, month 7, that's where you are. You've dropped a couple of like hints of what's going on. You've joined courses, you've got mentoring. Can you tell us why? Why? And also as well, would you recommend that process to other sellers, or maybe on reflection you think actually it isn't necessary? What are your thoughts? Share that.
I think what you don't realize is people think of strategies on Amazon as sort of RA, OA, private label, wholesale. It's not, because every single one of them has got more strategies in them. Let's open up online arbitrage, and you've got different strategies in there, I believe. So you can take the strategy where you're going to wait 2 to 3 months for the price to stabilize, or you're going to try and get the buy box straight away, or you're going to go for high quantity, really low profit items. There's loads of different strategies within this. What I realized, the people that aren't doing so well is they haven't decided their core strategy first. What are you going to go for? You need to build that core up. Understand the setbacks of each. Understand the setbacks of waiting for the price to go up. Understand the setbacks of taking a lot less profit and ROI. Don't expect too much in this one and that one. And just sort of understand the particular strategy that you're doing a lot more. That's what I would have said, yeah. My academy that I'm still on is with Online Seller Circle. It's Hayden and Steve. I'm also being mentored by Luke Dugan, who's got, Mr. FBA. He's got his big group as well. I find myself the sort of person that likes the accountability of someone sort of holding my hand and stand on the shoulders of giants sort of thing, as they say. If you can't afford the mentoring stuff, you can work it out, but you're going to make mistakes, a lot more of them, and it's going to be hard. If you can afford it, I would definitely recommend getting in some sort of accountability group for sure. Someone that's trusted, someone that's got a lot of knowledge and stuff, and just let them sort of hold your hand. But only after you've decided what strategy you're going to do, because that's really important to what mentor you pick. I've got a plan of where I want to be in 5 to 10 years, all written out. And if I didn't have that, I could be wasting my money.
So let's just kind of wrap this up and to say you kind of alluded to it. You had a 5-10 year plan. You don't have to go that far. Obviously, you've only been doing Amazon now for 6-7 months. Where does the future lie? Where are you going to be? Where are you taking your business?
Q4, November, December sort of thing, I want to be doing at least 30k, and I think I will do it, you know, in 1 month, and I think I will do it. I know I'll do it, and I'll post some results in your group. But yeah, so I want to be doing that. In terms of longer term, though, you know, sort of, you know, year to 3 years sort of thing. As I said, I'm going to be taking on that unit soon as well, and my aim's to have the 2 income streams. So I really want to build up keep investing in Amazon and keep building the replenishables, get a couple of VAs on that, build that up to, you know, at least sort of, you know, next year when it's sort of 250k, 400 turnover. And I think I'll do it, you know. And then on this side, though, I want to be building my prep center as well. So I've got another, so I can push all of my items through the prep center and then prep some other people's items as well, just to cover some prep costs there, and just to have another income stream over here. And that's, I don't like to overload myself too much, because that's where my guidance has gone in previous businesses, but really just to focus on them 2 things for the next sort of year and a half, 2 years, and get them both to be really good income streams for me, so that I can, you know, sort of have the freedom to sort of travel like you do, I suppose.
Sometimes in Vietnam or wherever I may be.
Yeah.
Oh, honestly, thank you very much. And I think, look, the question I probably ask, if anyone's got any questions for you, maybe they want to get in contact, what is the best way they can do that?
Yeah. So I've literally just Hayden Davidson on YouTube. So I'm just building up my YouTube at the moment. Yeah, just Hayden Davidson. And yeah, I've got Instagram as well. And obviously, yeah, I'm on most of the Facebook groups. You know, Fast Track, Mr. FBA, Arbitrage. You know, a lot of them. Yeah. So I'm all over the shop really. The other sellers.
That's fantastic. Cool. And what I'll do is I'll drop a link down below to obviously your profile. So if anyone wants to get in contact and ask any questions they can. But first of all, thank you very much for sharing about your journey. Also just sharing about, you know, the first 6 months. You know, this is probably one of the most scary parts. You know, it's the time we make all the mistakes, everything goes wrong, and then we eventually start figuring out what we want. And you know, it's great to hear where you've come from and also where you want to go. And you know, it's really great to hear about your reflection and, you know, what you would recommend to yourself if you were to do it again. So if anyone else is watching this, hopefully you found that useful. But what I would like to say is, for me, Thomas Parkinson, and anyone watching this, Hayden, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.